The scent of simmering marinara sauce fills my nostrils as I give the large pot a final stir before lowering the heat to let it blend into perfection. I'm Sam, the head chef here at Alfredo's, one of the most upscale Italian restaurants in New York City. Owned by the ruthless tycoon Mr. Jones, Alfredo's caters to the Upper East Side's wealthy elite and socialites. As much as I love coaxing complex flavors from fresh ingredients, working under Mr. Jones has been no picnic lately. Ever since he installed those high-tech security cameras in the kitchen, I feel like Big Brother is watching my every move. God forbid if a speck of sauce stains my pristine white jacket or a strand of pasta sticks to the bottom of a pan. Still, as much grief as Mr. Jones gives me, it's nothing compared to how he treats the servers. Especially Lisa, the restaurant manager. I don't know how she tolerates his relentless criticisms and impatience, though I suspect it has something to do with the fiery passion for hospitality that burns behind her chestnut eyes. As closing time nears, the last few lingering patrons trickle out into the night. The minute the door shuts behind them, Lisa lets out an exhausted sigh and kicks off her high heels. What a night. My feet are killing me. Mr. Jones was in one of his moods today, breathing down my neck about making sure the wine list was perfectly updated and grilling me on all the daily specials. She vents as she sinks onto a stool in the kitchen. I give her a sympathetic nod. Tell me about it. I thought steam was going to shoot from his ears when he saw me using cilantro instead of Italian parsley as a garnish earlier. We share a weary chuckle, kindred spirits bonding over our restaurant tormentor. It may be laughable, but we both know Mr. Jones and his volatile temper are no joke. One tiny misstep could cost us our jobs in an instant. Still, Lisa and I always manage to lift each other's spirits, even after the hardest days slaving under Mr. Jones's reign. As the rest of the staff finishes their closing duties, I wheel out a cart piled high with last night's untouched tiramisu, chocolate torts, and other decadent desserts. Lisa raises an eyebrow. What's all this? Just the usual excess. I shrug. You know, Mr. Jones would rather let it all go to waste than donate it. Lisa shakes her head, a familiar fire smoldering in her eyes. It's criminal. All this perfectly good food that could feed half the hungry folks in Manhattan. I nod. Yeah. Makes my blood boil too. But oh well, Jones doesn't care. As long as he's raking in his millions hosting the bourgeois. A thoughtful look crosses Lisa's face for a moment. Then a subtle smile tugs at the corner of her mouth. You almost done back there, Freddie? She calls out to the dishwasher. Just finishing up the last load. He hollers back over the clatter of plates. Lisa glances conspiratorially back at me. I'll grab us a couple trash bags from the supply closet. I feel a smile stretch across my cheeks as I realize what she has in mind. It's become a regular ritual for us after hours, packing up Mr. Jones' untouched surplus fare to distribute to the less fortunate souls who wander the streets and back alleys near the restaurant. Maybe old Jones would disown us himself if he knew we were stealing his precious excess. But if it means putting real food in real people's bellies, that's a risk we're willing to take. As Freddie pushes his cleaning cart out back, Lisa and I hastily stuff bags full of bread, pastries, sliced meats, cheeses, anything left over that hasn't already spoiled. We load up every last crumb. I peek cautiously out the back door into the trash-strewn alley bathed in shadows. Coast is clear. We slip out silently, hauling our secret stash until we reach the nearby park entrance. There's already a small crowd gathered on the benches, men and women wrapped in tattered coats, wearing hunger and exhaustion in the lines on their faces. But as they spot Lisa and me toting our bags, their eyes widen with gratitude. Murmurs ripple through them. Bless you both. Heaven sent angels. Lisa beams as she starts passing out sandwiches and bagels. My heart swells to see folks so overjoyed just to fill their bellies. If only for these small moments, all the grief Mr. Jones gives us feels worth it just to bring tiny fragments of joy to those less fortunate on the streets. As the last few stragglers shuffle off with full hands and heaping bags, Lisa lets out a satisfied exhale. Can't think of a better way to end the night than with full bellies all around. I chuckle. Amen to that. We retrace our steps through the back alley toward Alfredo's when suddenly Lisa grabs my arm. Sam, look, she whispers urgently. I glance up to see the alley entrance filled by a sleek black town car. Strange for this late hour, and even stranger when I realize who's stepping out from the back seat. None other than Mr. Benjamin Jones himself. Lisa and I exchange panicked looks. No time to run or hide. Mr. Jones' beady eyes blaze as he storms toward us. Just what do you two think you're doing? His voice slices the night air like a knife. I feel Lisa freeze beside me. My mind scrambles for some excuse, but he's caught us red-handed with empty bags in tow. When neither of us responds, Jones thrusts an accusing finger. I know exactly what you're up to. Pilfering my establishment's provisions to hand out to every filthy transient on the street. I finally find my voice. Mr. Jones, we were just trying to dash. Save it. He cuts me off with a snarl. I don't know what upsets me more, the loss of profits or the audacity. Gallivanting about like some modern-day Robin Hoods under the cover of darkness. His face flashes purple. For a second, I think smoke might actually start spewing from his ears. How unbelievably foolish. He steps closer, positively fuming. I have half a mind to call the police. Thieving from my business. And tarnishing my reputation through this vigilante charity nonsense. He points a rigid finger between us. Mark my words, your employment at Alfredo's ends tonight. Now hand over your uniforms and get out of my sight before I change my mind and have you arrested. Lisa takes a small step forward, eyes glistening. Mr. Jones, I know you're upset, but those people needed dash. Jones slices the air sharply with his hand. Not another word. I don't want excuses. You're done here, both of you. His voice echoes down the alley. Now leave at once before I call the authorities. Lisa looks desperately to me. All I can do is shake my head defeatedly and mouth, let's go. No point reasoning with him now. We start to strip off our chef's jackets, but Jones snatches them angrily from our hands. I'll take those. Wouldn't want you getting any ideas about starting your own little restaurant with stolen goods. I bite my tongue hard, resisting every urge to spit back some choice words I'd surely regret. But the murderous look Jones gives as he turns on his polished heel makes one thing abundantly clear. We no longer have jobs here at Alfredo's. After all our years loyally serving behind his stoves, it's over in an instant. Numb shock blankets us as we walk wordlessly away from the alley. I keep replaying Jones' enraged face in my mind. My fists clench involuntarily. If we weren't jobless and broke, I'd march right back there and give that pompous windbag a piece of my mind. But Lisa lightly touches my arm, snapping me from my mental tirade. Her eyes bear a thoughtful gleam as she studies me. I guess we'll need to start job hunting tomorrow. I heave a cynical laugh. Job hunting? Sure, right after I take a nice relaxing dip in the Hudson. Lisa tilts her head knowingly. Sam, I wasn't talking about finding jobs. I frown, not following. Think about it. She presses on. We're two experienced restaurant professionals suddenly out of work. She pauses, carefully gauging my reaction. What if we didn't look for jobs? What if we made our own instead? I stop short. Lisa watches me, unblinking. Our own restaurant. Sam. We could do it. You and me. The full weight of her words hits me squarely in the chest, nearly knocking the wind out of me. She wants us to start our own place? Together? My mind floods with 1,000 swirling thoughts. Terror wrestles with tentative hope. Sure, I know my way around a professional kitchen in my sleep, but run my own full-scale restaurant operation? As the shock fades, though, echoes of our laughter over shared plates and Alfredo's kitchen ring in my memory. Scenes of lifting each other's spirits after grueling shifts flash through my mind. I meet Lisa's unwavering gaze again. Fearless determination emanates back at me. In that moment, I know without question I'd follow this extraordinary woman to the ends of the earth if she asked. I take a deep breath and extend my hand to her. Partners. Her face splits into a beaming grin as she grips my hand firmly. Partners. As we walk on discussing possibilities, optimism swirling between us, I know one thing for certain. This is only the beginning for the two of us. And God help anyone who tries to stand in our way. As Lisa and I walk the lamplit streets discussing our restaurant plans, rays of hope pierce the dark cloud left by Jones' fury. We'll need a catchy name first off, Lisa muses. Something friendly but classy. My mind spins through options. How about Sam and Lisa's Kitchen? Lisa scrunches her nose. Too boring. Okay then, Madam Chef, any brighter ideas? I nudge her playfully. She taps her lip thoughtfully. I know, the garden table. Fresh ingredients grown with care, served with warmth and hospitality. I let the name sit on my tongue, tasting its potential. I love it. We can decorate with little potted herbs and vines everywhere. Really lean into the garden vibe. Lisa claps excitedly. Yes, and we can source local produce from farmers' markets and urban gardens. As we bounce visions back and forth, I feel seeds of hope taking root inside me. But cold reality keeps creeping back too. We discuss money matters next. Between my measly savings and Lisa liquidating her retirement account, we scrape together just enough for a starter loan. We'll need to keep costs low, at least at first, I say. Stick to simple, seasonal dishes. Lisa nods. Affordable prices are key too. Anyone from struggling students to fixed-income seniors should feel welcome. Her passion for hospitality glitters in her eyes. I offer her a gracious bow. Well then, co-owner, where shall we set up shop for this little venture of ours? After hunting online, we find a recently vacated corner space nearby with decent bones but a very minimalist vibe. A lot of work needed, but overflowing with potential. Lisa enthuses during our walkthrough. And just imagine those bare walls covered in living gardens, I chime back. After haggling the skeptical landlord, we secure a modest lease. We sign our names and shake hands firmly, officially sealing our new business partnership. Warm pride swells in my chest. We start preparations immediately. Days blur into weeks flushed with activity, scrubbing floors, painting walls, scouring secondhand shops for decor. Soon vibrant tomato vines wrap the room and rows of stenciled vegetables parade across fresh white walls. Mismatched tables and chairs fill the floor space, illuminated by sparkling string lights. When gleaming silverware and stack of menus finally arrive, Lisa and I let out twin sighs of satisfaction over the cozy urban garden oasis we've cultivated. I peek over Lisa's shoulder as she uploads photos to social media. Not bad at all. My voice echoes proudly off the finished walls. Just one thing missing now, Lisa says. She pulls two neat aprons from her bag, garden table embroidered across the front in scrolling letters. I take mine reverently, then we tie them on in unison, our official new garden table uniforms. Lisa beams and squeezes my hand. Here we go, partner. First day of the rest of our lives. After placing job listings, former colleagues from Alfredo's come flooding in. Lisa and I can hardly contain our smiles as we pin name tags onto eager, fresh faces. On opening night, nerves and excitement charge the air. Adrenaline courses through me as I fire up ovens and prep stations. The rich, homey smells of simmering pasta sauce and baking bread embrace me like old friends. Right on cue, patrons start trickling in. Lisa glides between tables, chatting warmly with customers as our staff keep water glasses filled. In the kitchen, I find my rhythm plating dish after perfect dish. Through the rising din of lively conversation, Lisa catches my eye from the bustling dining room and shoots me a radiant smile. I grin back with a nod that says it all. We did it. Soon rave reviews start rolling in along with waves of eager new patrons. Lisa's social media campaign combined with our dedication to quality dishes at fair prices quickly cement the garden table as the new favorite local spot. Watching new regulars and fresh faces stream through our doors each night, seeing their genuine delight over the cozy ambience and delicious meals, fills me with immense satisfaction. This little world Lisa and I crafted together feels complete. Sure, the workdays are long and exhausting. We constantly pinch pennies and tackle learning curves neither of us expected. But every ounce of sweat equity feels worthwhile. As the first few successful months roll by, though, an unexpected visitor darkens our door. On a bustling Friday lunch service, I spot a sleek town car pulling up outside. To my dismay, none other than Mr. Jones himself emerges, straightening his tie with a haughty sniff. My stomach drops. After all our effort creating this new life, the last face I want to see is his. I meet Lisa's eyes from across the busy dining room. Her lips flatten into a tense line. Without a word, she marches directly for the front door to intercept our old boss. I hustle out of the kitchen to join her. Jones hovers in the entry, slowly scanning the vibrant walls with an unreadable expression. He turns as we approach, surprise flickering across his stony features. "Well, fancy seeing you two here," he remarks coolly. I heard chatter of a new hotspot in town with familiar faces at the helm. His oily smile makes my fist clench. But Lisa remains composed. "Hello, Mr. Jones. Welcome to the garden table. As you can see, we've been pretty busy since leaving Alfredo's." Frosty warning edges her polite tone. Jones just offers an amused huff in return. "So it would appear. And clearly doing decent for yourselves too based on this trendy little operation." His gaze sweeps the packed tables derisively. Though I can't fathom how you manage such modest pricing. I bite my tongue, resisting the urge to inform Jones precisely where he can shove his elite opinions about our business. Sensing the tension, Lisa steps between us. "Was there something specific you wanted, Mr. Jones? We're quite busy at the moment, as I'm sure you can see." Jones watches a group being seated with a strange gleam in his eye. "No, nothing in particular. Simply curious to see your new establishment firsthand after hearing so much talk around town." He clears his throat, adjusting his cuffs. "Well, I won't keep you. I'm sure you two have much to manage, given your inexperience as independent restaurateurs." With a final tight smile, he turns sharply toward the exit. Lisa and I stand frozen until the side of his town car disappears down the road. I finally release the breath I'd been holding. What the hell was that about? Lisa frowns. I don't know, but something tells me we haven't seen the last of Mr. Jones. An uneasy feeling churns in my gut too. But as the next weeks pass uneventfully, we mostly forget Jones' odd visit, until the first negative review appears online. Terrible service. Ordered pasta loaded with salt and waited forever. Clearly the owners don't know what they're doing. Lisa and I exchange puzzled looks in the kitchen. But none of our dishes are salty, I protest. And who had to wait forever? Our staff just shrug, equally confused. As more warped criticisms pop up though, a pattern emerges, complaints of lengthy wait times, bland or incorrect orders, rude servers, none of which align with the thriving scene inside the garden table night after night. Someone's obviously making this crap up to tank our ratings, I fume, staring accusingly at the latest scathing critique. But who would go through so much effort to sabotage us? Lisa wonders aloud. My teeth instinctively grind as one smug face appears in my mind's eye. The next weeks bring more mysterious calamities. First, the local health inspector shows up unannounced, scrutinizing every corner and surface after an anonymous tip. Lisa manages to appease her with our meticulous food safety protocols, but still, someone clearly sicked her on us. Then we start finding signs of an attempted break-in around back. Brute force bent the door frame, but our solid lock held firm. After that, though, is when things escalate from creepy to dangerous. I'm taking out trash after a busy dinner rush when I spot two shadowy figures lurking by the dumpster. At first, I think it's more hungry folks hoping for handouts. But as I step into the light, their menacing faces transform. Before I can react, the larger one has me shoved against brick, forearm crushing my windpipe. "You Sam," he growls, breath reeking of cigarettes. I sputter what sounds vaguely like, "Yes. We got a message for you, and that pretty partner of yours." The second goon sneers, flicking his knife ominently. "Time to close up shop here, capice? Boss wants you gone, and we aim to make that happen, one way or another." The big one releases me, and I slide down the wall gasping. Through blurry eyes, I watch them stalk away into the night, cackling. Still struggling for breath, I stagger inside to find Lisa. Her face pales as I recount the violent warning. Fury storms across her face. "That sleazy snake. This has Jones written all over it in neon letters." I nod vehemently, massaging my tender throat. After double-bolting the back door and reviewing security footage of our unnamed boss, exhaustion weighs heavily on us both. Lisa squeezes my shoulder. "But we're not going to let that pompous bully scare us away, right, Sam?" Her fiery defiance sparks my own simmering anger. I straighten resolutely. Damn straight. We'll be ready for anything else he throws our way. In alert preparation mode, we take defensive measures, installing security cameras, changing locks, hiring overnight guards. Lisa also launches a social media counteroffensive against the fraudulent critiques, while I develop a secret alarm button to silently signal for help. We even implement a buddy system for taking out trash after hours. Meanwhile, the garden table continues thriving despite the unseen sabotage efforts. Our original simple menu steadily diversifies as I experiment with new seasonal creations. Lisa updates decor and fine-tunes operations. We start gaining media attention too, small local publications at first, then bigger outlets. Before long, the garden table earns recognition as an affordable neighborhood gem with homegrown charm and standout dishes. Sweeter victories come on nights when Lisa and I distribute leftover food to our local homeless friends. Even with Jones still finding ways to torment us from the shadows, I'm filled with deep gladness seeing warm meals fill empty bellies. Watching new life blossom in this little restaurant we cultivated stirs similar feelings in my heart for Lisa too. Weighty looks linger between us across the kitchen some nights. Other evenings find me casually covering her hand with mine as we review invoices. Through the nonstop work and chaos, though, we focus on reassuring our loyal staff and customers alike. The garden table is here to stay, no matter what. Lisa declares more than once to anxious servers. We're not going anywhere. The certainty in her voice always helps steady my resolve too. Mr. Jones clearly aimed to uproot all our efforts out of petty jealousy. But Lisa and I only dig our roots in deeper, which turns out to be a wise instinct once we learn the truth of what's happening back at Alfredo's. Rumors start circulating from former colleagues about the once bustling institution looking deserted lately. We even drive by one night and sure enough, tables sit vacant inside the posh interior through the grand arched windows. Later, a local business paper confirms Alfredo's financial struggles. Lisa reads the headline aloud from over my shoulder. Popular Italian eatery on verge of bankruptcy after owner alienates patrons. I raise my eyebrows at Lisa. Alienates patrons? That's putting it mildly. Amused satisfaction tickles me to learn of the arrogant mogul's floundering restaurant. But Lisa just frowns thoughtfully. You almost have to feel bad for the old creep. We're obviously not the only past employees to quit. Now regulars are fleeing too. While I privately relish the karma, Lisa's compassion never fails to humble me. But we have little time to dwell on old bosses. The garden table demands our full devotion, especially once famed local food critic Anton Ritz makes an unexpected reservation. The night before his arrival, tension climbs to peak levels. Every leaf of parsley must be flawlessly aligned, each table immaculately polished to a gleam. When the reserved time arrives, though, dread curdles my gut. Our lauded guest is 20 minutes late, bizarre for an obsessive Epicurean like Ritz. I'm about to ask Lisa to call when the doors swing open. There stands not the food critic, but a sheepish Mr. Jones. Flabbergasted rage rockets through me. You deceitful snake. I burst out before Lisa can react. How dare you book under a false name after everything you've already put us through? Get out. But Jones holds up his palms pleadingly. Now just a moment, let me explain. When I step aggressively forward, Lisa grabs my arm. Something like pity lurks behind the fury in her eyes as she searches Jones' sagging face. I bite my tongue, silently fuming, as she turns to her uninvited guest. You have 1 minute, Mr. Jones. And it better be good after all the stunts you've pulled on us and our business. Jones clears his throat, staring down at his shoes. When he finally meets our stares, naked remorse etches his features. You're right, of course. My behavior has been utterly inexcusable since we last spoke. His face screws up as though the next words pain him greatly. I owe you both a sincere apology. The truth is, seeing your cheerful little restaurant thriving day after day, realizing all my loyal staff had abandoned me for your kitchen, it stirred a bitterness and envy I haven't felt for ages. He rubs his forehead wearily, and for the first time, I notice gray hairs amidst the dark waves. Standing here stammering before us, Jones looks like a deflated balloon, pale ghost of the blustering tycoon we once knew. Pity starts chiseling away at the rock of animosity lodged in my chest. I shift my gaze to Lisa instead, who watches our old boss intently. Jones meets her scrutinizing look now with total contrition. So, let me say this while I still have the chance. I am truly, deeply sorry for the pain and trouble I've caused you both. And he pauses, emotion straining his voice, and I want to make things right between us again, if you'll let me try. He extends his hands entreatingly as silence settles between us. A war wages inside me between lingering anger and Lisa's promptings to practice forgiveness. I'm preparing to grudgingly accept his apology when Jones suddenly grasps Lisa's hand. Actually, that's not all. I also want you to take over ownership of Alfredo's itself. Lisa and I gape in astonishment as Jones presses on fervently. My business is dying. It's beyond saving at this point. But perhaps if I signed ownership over to you both instead then. He trails off almost wistfully. Lisa gently extracts her hand. We appreciate you coming here to apologize, Mr. Jones, sincerely. She glances at me and I offer a conciliatory nod. Holding on to bitterness wouldn't have helped anyone. Jones' face relaxes slightly in relief. Lisa continues gently, however, Sam and I have everything we want right here with the garden table. We couldn't possibly take on another restaurant, especially one with so many painful memories attached. I step forward now. Thank you for the generous offer, but our place is here. We wish you all the best with your future endeavors, though. I extend my hand in a symbolic olive branch. Jones appears crestfallen by our refusal, but quickly recovers with a sad smile. He firmly returns my handshake. Of course, you two clearly have everything well in hand. I understand completely. With a final remorseful glance around our vibrant restaurant, Mr. Jones quietly takes his leave. Lisa slips her hand into mine as we watch him drive off. That was a very gracious thing you just did, Sam. I'm proud of you. Warmth rushes through me at her praise. I pull Lisa closer and press a fervent kiss to her forehead. None of this would even be possible without you as my partner, you know. Lisa smiles up at me, eyes brimming with promise of adventures yet to come. Arm in arm, we return to surveying our thriving garden table kingdom. No matter what storms may still arise ahead, with Lisa by my side, I know we'll continue harvesting all the rich blessings we've sown together. In the months after Jones' attempted sabotage and subsequent surrender, the garden table continues flourishing. Loyal regulars pack our homey venue while tourists wander lured by the aromas of Sicilian meatballs or sweet berry galettes emanating through the doors. Lisa oversees the controlled chaos with graceful expertise, gliding between tables to chat and topping off water glasses. Watching her radiant smile steadying anxious servers as orders pile up, I can't imagine navigating these daily obstacles without such a serene captain at the helm. Meanwhile, in the kitchen, I find myself experimenting more and more with the fresh produce that starts flooding our inventory as summer unfurls. Plump tomatoes burst with garden table bruschetta while sweet corn stars in my new risotto. When juicy peaches ripen, inspiration strikes for a glistening tart with flaky, buttery crust and vanilla bean mascarpone. The dessert is an instant bestseller, with folks soon hailing it as my sweet masterpiece. As the stone fruit pies fly out the bakery door, though, part of me pangs for simpler times those first few months when Lisa and I scraped our starter funds together over late-night planning sessions. Don't get me wrong, reaching profitability feels incredible after that rocky start under Joan's sabotage. But occasionally between the nonstop hustle of lunch and dinner rushes, I find myself missing those early mornings painting sunny murals on bare walls as Lisa stirred coffee nearby, dreaming aloud about the community we aim to cultivate here. Some nights after close, I invite Lisa up to the intimate rooftop patio we recently finished above the kitchens. Strings of twinkling bulbs cast a magical glow for us to decompress over a late bite. Up on that balcony beneath the stars, the rest of the sleepless city fades away. It's just me and Lisa laughing freely in this little oasis. No bustling staff hovering nervously over orders, or scrutinizing health inspector eyeing floor grout. On one such night, I pore over spreadsheets with Lisa calculating food costs and wages. But familiar frustration soon has me tossing my pen down with a huff. Ugh, I miss when all we had to think about was putting good meals on tables. Now there's just endless logistics and supply issues and staffing problems. I run both hands roughly through my hair before turning pleadingly to Lisa. Is it awful I'm almost nostalgic for those early days sometimes? When it was just you and me painting these walls, dreaming up dishes. To my surprise, Lisa laughs lightly in response. Oh, Sam. We worked around the clock those first months. I was constantly terrified we'd gotten in over our heads. Her eyes glow with remembrance, though, as she gazes at the twinkling city streets below. But you're right, there was something magical about it just being the two of us racing to get this place furnished and operational. I shake my head, lost in memory too. I'll never forget that opening night. We didn't know if a single soul would walk through those doors. But once patrons started streaming in, sharing food we'd scrounged every penny to purchase. I pause, emotion suddenly thickening my voice at how close failure loomed back then. Lisa seems to read my thoughts. She lays her soft hand over mine. Well, we made it, darling. Against all odds, the garden table took root. Hearing the rare affectionate term on Lisa's lips sends pleasant warmth cascading through me. Some invisible tether pulls my gaze up to meet her gentle eyes. Like clouds parting to reveal the sun, a powerful realization dawns on me in that moment. I'm completely, hopelessly smitten by this extraordinary woman. How could I call her mere business partner after everything we've survived shoulder to shoulder? She's the rain nurturing seeds of inspiration in my heart. My guiding moon keeping long nights from veering off course. No, Lisa long ago became my closest confidant. And somewhere along the way, my dearest friend blossomed into the love of my life. As though reading my newly unearthed emotions, Lisa searches my face intently. The distant city glow frames her features beautifully. When she brushes a loose strand of hair from my temple, my heartbeat quickens like a teenager. But our intimate moment is suddenly ruptured by footsteps thumping up the metal staircase. Marco, our aspiring young sous chef, appears looking anxious. Chef Sam, sorry to interrupt so late, but we've got a situation downstairs. With profuse apologies for disturbing our evening, Marco explains that a small fire broke out in the kitchen during closing. Thankfully, the overnight guard contained it swiftly using the emergency extinguishers. Lisa and I rushed down to survey the damage. A blackened scorch mark scars one wall near the convection ovens. Luckily, though, quick response prevented structural impact or inventory loss. Marco spews nervous explanations about staying late to experiment with flambe recipes. But Lisa and I reassure him accidents happen and the important thing is no one was harmed. After Marco heads home, though, discouragement starts seeping in as we stare at the ugly blemish marring our previously pristine workspace. I wrap one arm around Lisa's slumped shoulders. Maybe this is the universe's way of reminding us to come up for air sometimes. Our staff doesn't need us burning the candle at both ends. Lisa nods resignedly before attempting a smirk. At least this is good incentive to finally renovate the kitchen like we've talked about. I chuckle half-heartedly, but discomfort still gnaws at me. It suddenly feels like no matter how much Lisa and I nurture this place, some new chaos always springs up demanding attention. Almost as though she senses my doubts, Lisa turns to squeeze my arm. Why don't we plan a little staff retreat when renovations wrap up? Take everyone ziplining or go karts racing for team bonding. We could use some recreational recovery too. The suggestion helps lift my spirits. But even more motivating is the prospect of whisking Lisa away, if only briefly, from the endless responsibilities monopolizing our lives lately. Perhaps amidst the woods or soaring on zip lines, we'll rediscover that effortless connection kindling between us on the rooftop before interruption doused the flame. So over the next weeks, we throw ourselves into kitchen upgrades, installing more efficient equipment, accenting walls with ornate tile, building a cozy seating nook by the back bakery, and adding fresh pops of basil green paint. Soon rich aromas once again envelope me as I survey our sleek new workspace. Pride swells at how this labor of love improves workflow for our hardworking staff. Eager energy buzzes around the restaurant with all hands on deck restocking inventory and upholding our impeccable standards through the final stretch of renovations. On the last night before reopening, Lisa gathers everyone for a celebratory toast. China clinks amidst proud smiles all around. As I glimpse the new murals of abundance adorning restored walls, though, inspiration strikes me. I tap my glass, calling for attention. Before you all dive back into serving garden table fare tomorrow, Lisa and I want to send you off with full bellies. Everyone grab an apron. You're getting a crash course in cooking with Chef Sam tonight. Delighted cheers echo my announcement. Soon servers, bussers, and hosts all bustle about dicing vegetables and kneading dough under my guidance. Lisa weaves between stations, checking technique and offering encouragement. Seeing her beaming proudly around our makeshift student chefs, something swells and aches in my chest for this remarkable woman. We feast afterward on the fruits of our lesson: roasted chicken in perfect pan jus, Stephen's sagging souffle, Amy's slightly overcooked but still palatable pastas. Watching everyone savoring our collaborative efforts fills me with immense hope for this restaurant's continued resilience. Later, once all the amateur chefs bid us good night, I seize the opportunity alone with Lisa. As we polish stemware side by side, I clear my throat self-consciously. You know, it occurs to me we never got to finish our conversation on the rooftop the other night. Before Marco interrupted us, Lisa pauses her shining to meet my tentative gaze. Oh, which conversation was that? Suddenly my collar feels hot and restrictive. I tug it loose, choosing my next words carefully. I believe we were reminiscing about the early days here, when the garden table was still just scribbles and notebooks and visions on bare walls. I move cautiously closer, pulse thrumming. And I confess, thinking back to that beginning stage with you, those chaotic but thrilling first months, I've come to realize you mean more to me than just business partner, Lisa. I take her hand gently, encouraged when she doesn't pull away. You become my closest confidant, the shoulder I lean on when recipes fail and bills stack up. My voice of reason through every storm, my eyes cling earnestly to hers. I suppose what I'm trying to say is you've blossomed into someone I just can't imagine experiencing this crazy restaurant ride without. Lisa's voice comes softly. Sam, I think you know my sentiments mirror yours. Running the garden table feels so seamless because you and I operate as two halves of a whole. Her eyes shimmer like stars emerging at dusk. In truth, my feelings for you started growing long before either of us acknowledged them. Elation bubbles through me at this admission. Lisa goes on, almost shyly now. What do you say we finally explore what more we could become after the staff retreat? Perhaps a weekend getaway to decompress, just the two of us. My answer comes fervently in the form of a searing kiss that steals both our breath away. True to her word, Lisa books a charming vineyard cottage upstate once staff excitement from the action-packed retreat dies down. We eagerly hit the road that Friday afternoon, giddy with anticipation of finally claiming uninterrupted time together outside garden table's walls. Between leisurely wine tastings and long strolls through the autumn countryside, conversation and laughter flow effortlessly. With no menus to craft or payroll to run, deeper topics surface organically. Our fears, our past heartbreaks and betrayals, childhood tribulations. Sensing Lisa's residual wounds from previous toxic relationships, I tenderly reassure her my affections run bone deep. Whatever the future holds, we're in this partnership for good. And I don't just mean the restaurant. As we lay tangled beneath cottage eaves on our final morning, sunlight filtering through the changing trees, Lisa props herself thoughtfully on one elbow. What do you think about making this official once we're back in the city, love? My heartbeat quickens hearing her call me love. Official? I ask, trailing my fingers idly along her arm. Lisa nods, biting her lip. You know, telling colleagues we're together now. An official garden table power couple. She tries for a light chuckle, but nerves strain her voice. I tilt her chin up gently so our eyes meet. I would love nothing more than to call you my girlfriend publicly, Lisa. Never doubt that. I kiss her forehead tenderly. If you're ready for folks to know, then so am I. Lisa visibly relaxes, relief breaking over her face. She gifts me with a brilliant smile before pulling my mouth eagerly down to hers once more. So by the time we return to work on Monday, spirits renewed from our romantic getaway, and our new status as official partners in both business and love, life feels brimming with promise. We decide on a modest approach for informing staff. But the first server Lisa tells still gasps loud enough to turn all heads our way in the packed dining room. Happy astonishment ripples through our employees at the news. Marco pops champagne behind the bakery counter later, while the female servers take turns fawning over Lisa's form-fitting date night dresses. Their exuberant support touches us deeply. Life carries on smoothly for a season. The garden table continues thriving through the holidays. Our staff operate like a well-oiled machine managing packed venues for celebratory feasts. Meanwhile, stolen moments with Lisa between services keep me floating on air. Something magical pierces mundane moments now, her hand slipping easily into mine as we review paperwork, or smiling secretively across the kitchen through the controlled chaos. By the time spring unfurls in all her verdant, floral glory, Lisa is dropping more candid mentions of moving in together. My pulse leaps excitedly at the prospect. We start hunting for the perfect shared space during scarce down hours. But fate intervenes on a sleepy Saturday afternoon with an unexpected caller, Mr. Benjamin Jones himself. I bristle instinctively when Lisa informs me who awaits in the back office. But her relaxed tone conveys no dread. I find Jones sitting rigidly on our thrift shop couch looking oddly nervous. He stands abruptly, smoothing his impeccable suit jacket. So sorry to just stop by unannounced. I was nearby running errands and decided to take a chance you two might have a free moment. He attempts a congenial smile, but huskiness in his voice betrays deeper emotions. I perch cautiously on the edge of Lisa's desk, nodding for him to continue. Jones clears his throat. The truth is, I've been longing to speak with you both again for a while now. May I? I glance at Lisa. She indicates for me to hear him out. I fold my arms, remaining standing. Go ahead then. Jones appears to steel himself before proceeding solemnly. Let me first say yet again how deeply I regret the horrific way I treated you both and attempted to undermine your lovely business in a jealous rage. His face screws up in self-scorn. I was utterly despicable, and you had every right to angrily spurn my olive branch that day. He pauses, staring gravely down at his shoes. When he lifts his gaze again, regret carved into his features, I'm startled to see glassy sheen filling his eyes. After you turned down my desperate proposal to salvage the sinking ship I'd foolishly steered onto rocks, I decided retiring from restaurants altogether was the wise course. He absently strokes his silvering goatee. Once Alfredo's closed for good, I chose to heed your example by directing my remaining resources toward charity meals for the hungry rather than hoarding profits. A rueful half-smile flickers across his face. I even volunteer regularly down at Sacred Heart Soup Kitchen. Quite a shift from the pompous glutton you once knew. His smile fades swiftly, though, as he clears his throat again. Still, not a day goes by I don't ache thinking of everyone hurt by my reprehensible behavior. So many people counting on steady jobs or warm meals, all dashed to rubble under my self-obsessed mania. His eyes squeeze shut as potent remorse washes over him. I robbed so much dignity and joy through my despicable tunnel vision. And I'm so very sorry for letting both of you down too. You deserved so much better. His voice falters with emotion. Lisa moves quietly from her spot by the window to pass Jones the box of tissues from her desk. He accepts one gratefully, dabbing his eyes until composure returns. Apologies again for getting carried away. I only came here to thank you in person for inadvertently opening my eyes. Your grit and passion stirred me to follow your example, serving others versus chasing more wealth. Sincerity rings through his every word. Moved by this former tyrant's transparency, I abandoned my guarded stance and stepped forward. Mr. Jones, Benjamin, I rubbed my neck thoughtfully. What you created at Alfredo's wasn't all bad. That restaurant may have run aground under your solo leadership. But Lisa and I also have you to thank for instilling a foundation of culinary excellence during our early training there. I extend my hand in a merciful gesture this time. We appreciate you coming to make amends like this too. It's never too late for redemption or starting fresh. His hands tremble, gripping mine. I can see renewed hope dawning behind the sheen still glossing his eyes. Here, I hand him one of our gift cards. On behalf of the garden table, your next meal here is on us. We would be honored to serve you any time. Jones looks back and forth between us, practically overcome by gratitude. Lisa beams approvingly over his shoulder while I give his hand a forgiving final shake. Thank you, Sam, truly. Jones' voice catches. Your grace today means more than you know. He turns also to Lisa then. Please, if either of you ever need anything, advice, investor referrals, real estate contacts, I'm just a phone call away. Consider me your most enthusiastic cheerleader moving forward. We walk him out amidst more profuse words of praise and appreciation spilling from his lips before he drives off, waving energetically from his sensible sedan with its tiny rear windshield sticker, "Do more good." Lisa slips her arms around my waist with a contented sigh as we watch the car disappear down the street. That was really special what you did back there, babe. She gives me an admiring smile. I know letting go of the past couldn't have been easy with all the grief he caused us. But you handled Jones with real compassion. I hug her close, breathing in Lisa's sweet floral scent. You inspire that in me, I think. That generosity you first showed him back when he offered us the failing Alfredos. I pulled back to meet her eyes. That shocked me, but it also stuck with me. Lisa caresses my cheek. Either way, I'm thankful to be with someone so devoted to lifting others up. I turn my head to kiss her palm, never breaking gaze. Well, I'm thankful fate brought me you as a partner in all things. Only question is, I lift her hand still cradling my jawline and brush a kiss across her knuckles. When do I get to make an honest woman out of the garden table's graceful co-proprietor? Lisa's smile turns angelic. She loops both arms around my neck, eyes dancing. Are you proposing to me, Chef Sam? I grin back roguishly, wrapping her tighter in my embrace. That depends if you're saying yes, my darling Lisa. Joyful laughter mingles with salt and sweetness as our lips meet to seal the first day of our blessed new adventure together. And so it was that the two restaurateurs who once lost everything, then rebuilt an empire from the ashes, grew roots intertwined as one unshakable garden table oak. Through selfless service to others in need, patience practicing forgiveness, and seeds of love sown faithfully season after season, Sam and Lisa continued cultivating their ever-flourishing community garden long into happily ever after. This is where our story comes to an end. Share your thoughts in the comments section. Thanks for your precious time. If you enjoyed this story, then please make sure you subscribe to this channel. That would help me a lot. Click on the video you see on the screen, and I will see you there.